Hey friends, welcome back to Nelly Sisters YouTube channel. I'm Neha Sara Nelson, a student of class 9. In today's session, we are able to understand about distance and displacement. So first almost, we need to understand what is distance. So before going to our today's session, first almost like, share, subscribe and comment your ideas below. So let's move on to our session. So first almost, what is distance? So, for understanding distance, what is initial position and final position? The journey or the place where you start comes under refers to initial position. So, the starting point of your journey is the initial position. And what is the final position? Final position is the place where your journey terminates or ends, where it is the ending point. End point is known as the final position, and the starting point is known as the initial position. So now let's understand what is distance. So the total distance covered by an object from an initial position to a final position. So the total distance covered by an object from the initial position to the final position. So as well as we understood what is a distance. So the total motion or the total distance covered by an object. So what comes under this? So what are the examples, or what can I how you would understand about distance or more easily? So let me teach you and let me show you very simply what is distance. So as an example, I am taking A and B. A is the initial position and B is the final position, and A is an object. Okay, and there is an object placed in A. Okay, this is A, the initial position and final position. A is in A, there is an object. Okay, it is moving to B. They got two roads. One is zigzag and the other one is a straight line. Therefore, he is going through the zigzag way, which is 12 meters. So he covered the 12 meters and reached B, and which is the final position. In the terms I am taking as the B is the final position, then what is the distance covered by the 12 meters? Okay, I hope you understood it. Now the next one is there is a straight line. Now he want to go to back to A, which was the initial position. Now it is the final position. Now this is the initial position now when it needs to go to A. Okay, now the final position is A and the initial position is B. So the object is moving in a zigzag way again, which covers 12 meter. Therefore, what is the total distance covered over there? It is 12 plus 12, that is 24 meters. He totally covered 24 meters over there to reach A to B to B to A, right? Okay, so this is the total distance he covered in his journey. Now in the case he is going through a straight line distance and want to reach B, that is 11 meters, which he covered already 11 meters. And now he want to reach back from B to A, which is also 11 meters. So the distance is total distance from A to B and B to A. His total journey is, what is the total distance he covered in his total journey? It is 11 plus 11, that is 22. So 22 meters is the total journey, is the distance above the total journey he covered. Now in the case we are looking about the displacement. Over there, let's understand what is displacement first. So the straight line distance covered by an object from the initial position to the final position regarding the magnitude and the definite direction. So a definite direction is needed. Whether though in distance magnitude is also there, but in the case it is not direction is not shaped in the first distance, but definite direction is needed, which is regard in the displacement. So now as you understood that the distance displacement is a straight line distance covered from the initial position to the final position. As you understood, Fred, from the initial position to the final position. But in the case of distance, initial position and the final position could be added, whether though you could say that if your whole journey is initial position is from A and the final position is also A, right? You no need to referring about the initial position or final position, even though when you are saying about the distance, which is no needed, because the total distance covered by an object is known as distance. Whether the initial position or final position doesn't need that much intro for that distance. But in the case of displacement, initial position and final position got a great change when the regarding what direction, as when we the displacement takes, as I told you, the straight line distance from the initial position to the final, from the initial position only to final position in a straight line distance. Now give me the answer. If you could go through the zigzag way, then what is the displacement? Is there displacement takes place? Answer me. 1, 5 seconds, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Time's up. So it is no. Displacement won't take place in the zigzag way. Now understanding about that, the second of your the second line, the straight line distance, displacement won't take place in the zigzag way. Why? The answer will be given at the end of this explanation. And now about the straight line distance, the second row, the straight line distance to B, it is 11 meters. So the displacement is also from A to B, the displacement is 11 meters. Now what about, okay, so the displacement takes place here and the sum is 11 meters. And now what about going back from A B to A? It's simple, it's 22 meters. No, it's 0. Huh? 0. How, man? Go. It's already 22 meters when it was distance, and displacement is will also the same. So what? No. Displacement got a definite direction. If the direction changes, that is the reason where displacement don't takes place in a zigzag way, because the direction changes from here. It will go, it would go like this, and then the direction would changes to south, and then north and south and north and south, then going again to east, then go to north, like that the direction changes. So that is the thing, the direction, definite direction is needed for a displacement. Therefore from B to A, the displacement would be 0. But if you are taking from B to A as the initial and the final position, it would be 11 meters. Okay, I hope you understood it. So therefore, as an example for this, once more, like in the case of displacement, a stone thrown directionally proportional or perpendicular to us. If this is a stone, let me take. If take this one, okay, sorry, if I am taking this one, if it is going perpendicular to this, the straight line distance it covered to fold back to my hand would be the distance. So the distance was, okay, the distance is 5 meters. When I throwed it 5 meters, okay, it gone. So if a stone is thrown and came back to my hand, the total distance is 5 plus 5, it's 10. But the displacement of the rock when it is thrown, then only the displacement occurs. So for the displacement is 5 meters. But whether we can't state that the 5 meters is the correct answer, 0. It is because of that from the fallen rock to the hand, the fallen rock, the straight line distance again covered would be 0. Therefore, if a stone is thrown, the displacement would be, and fall down when a statement is given like that, the displacement would be 0. So this is the thing that you need to understand. And now let's also look about what is the thing that the unit of meter, so the unit of displacement and distance are same, which is meter. It is very important because equations, formulas, you need to understand the units very importantly, which are fundamental quantities. As you knew the fundamental quantities and derived quantities, you need to check in the YouTube channel where you could see them. So as well as, let's move on to a session that is about the, and now we also need to know that displacement is also denoted as S for a simple simplification. Now let's look about another thing that is about the scalar and vector quantities. So scalar quantity is a physical quantity where magnitude or a magnitude direction is regardless. Where direction is a definite direction is not needed. Okay, for the initial position and to the final a definite direction is not needed, but the magnitude is also given. That is a thing that the direction is not required, only magnitude is required, which has only magnitude. A distance physical quantity where which has only magnitude, direction is not required. Now in the case of a vector quantity, which is also a physical quantity which has only magnitude and which has have both direction and the magnitude. So direction is very important in the case of a vector quantity. Therefore we knew that displacement is a vector quantity and speed is a scalar quantity. So four more examples are also there for vector quantities. We could say that displacement, weight, velocity, force, acceleration, momentum, etc. comes under vector quantities. Now in the case of scalar quantities, length, time, mass, density, volume, area, this all comes under scalar quantities. So I hope you understood what is the concept that we shared today. It is about the distance and displacement, and there is more videos like what is velocity, what is acceleration, what is retardation. First class ninth, from the basis you need to study everything. So I hope you understood today's session. So this is whole of this today's session. So let's see in the next video. Till then, bye bye.